Good morning and Jai Hind, my dear students. How are you all? I hope you all must be fine. And I know that you all must have enjoyed a lot in your vacation. And after these vacation, you must be full of energy to acquire and absorb more. Therefore, your learning pattern has been changed. Why? Because we want our students to do a little bit of self-paced learning. So 2 days you will have a module based learning and 1 day virtual class. So whatever your doubts are, whatever things which are not clear, we will clear it in our virtual session. So Monday, Tuesday you will go through the modules and do the assessment which is just below that module. And after that on Wednesday we'll discuss about that. So this story, The Eyes Have It, is written by Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond is an Indian author of British parentage. He was born in Kasauli and he spent some of his time in London too, and now he lives in Landover, Missouri. He has written more than 300 short stories, essays, and novels. He has been honored with many prestigious awards, including Sahitya Academy Award, the Padma Shri, and Padma Bhushan. So, this story is basically set in a train compartment. See, one girl is there to whom her parents have come to see her off. They are saying, her mother is saying, bye Anna, and her father said, safe journey, and she is a bit sad and saying, bye mom, bye dad. Her mother is quite anxious. She is continuously telling her how to keep her things, how to sit there, and all the necessary things. Now, here the narrator is standing and he is thinking that I am all ready to play the very interesting game to become to pretend normal. Yes, pretending normal is a game for the narrator. Why? Because the narrator is blind here. And the girl enters the compartment and the narrator is thinking on himself that I don't know how she looks like, but I can hear her slippers which are slapping against her heels. And he's saying that I would take more time to tell about her looks. But he can't. And he asks something. He says, oh, are you going all the way to Dehra? And the girl seems to startled. And she says, oh, I didn't see that someone else was sitting here. To this, the narrator thinks, it often happens that the people with good eyesight can't see what is right in front of them, maybe because they have so many things to take in. At this, she says, oh, I'm getting off at Saharanpur. My aunt is going to meet me there. Then the narrator says, I would prefer not get too familiar then because aunts are formidable creatures. To this, she laughs a bit and then she asks, where are you going? He says that I'm going to Dehra and then to Missouri. Then she exclaims and says, oh, I wish I were going to Missouri. How lucky you are. This time is best for visiting Missouri. Then the narrator says, yes, this is the best time to visit Missouri. And they were having a conversation and then a mistake. What is that mistake? The narrator asks something that, what is it like outside? Then the girl says, why don't you look outside the window? Why don't you open the window? So the narrator was quite familiar with the route, so he pretended to watch the scenery. And he said, have you ever noticed that the trees seem to be moving and we seems to be still? Then the girl says, oh, it always happens. Can you tell me that there are any animals there? Then he confidently says, no, there are no animals because he is familiar with the route. And then after a silence, he says, he gives a compliment to her. He says, you have an interesting face. To this, the girl laughs and says that it is nice to be told that I have an interesting face because I am tired of people telling me I have a pretty face. Then the narrator says, well, interesting face can be pretty too. To this, she becomes a bit silent and she says, you seems to be a very young, gallant kind of young man, but why are you so serious? At this, the narrator says, we'll be soon at your station. And he is wondering on himself that how her hair looks like. It is pleated, made into bun, or put long, or it's short. And And to this, the girl exclaims when she hears that she will be soon at Saharanpur. She exclaims that, "Oh, how goodness! I can't bear to sit on this train for more than 2 or 3 hours." To this, the narrator becomes sad and says that I can sit any length of time with her to listen her voice. And after that, the station comes and the girl stands and she's leaving and she's saying nice to meet you. At this point of time, the narrator can feel the perfume of her hair, and he was just about to touch that, but he didn't do that. And after that, the girl went out. And see, the narrator is hearing something. Something is heard to him. What is the disturbance at the doorway? And see, the girl, after coming out of the train, she collides with a man, and that man says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I am sorry. I didn't see you. I didn't see you." At this, the girl, the Anna, says, "Oh, it's okay. I don't see you either. I didn't see you either." This was a small conversation between them, and they moved ahead. And here, the narrator who is in the train is thinking that, "Oh, I'll get once again a time to play my usual game with the new fellow traveler." He's quite excited that he'll again play that game. And to this, that man enters the compartment and telling the narrator that you must be quite disappointed because I'm not that attractive as the traveling companion who just left. To this, the narrator says, "Yes, she was an interesting girl. Can you tell me, did she keep her hair long or short?" To this, the stranger, the fellow traveler, says, "No, gentleman, I don't remember how did she keep her hair, but I noticed her eyes. I didn't notice her hairs, but her eyes. She had really beautiful eyes, but that were of no use to her because she was completely blind." And this was all about the story, where the narrator is left wondering where she must be now, and he is wondering that if he'll be able to forget her ever and the sweetness of her voice. Thank you, students. Have a great